hope that when you hear this video, that you are in the love revolution. So I'm recording this on January 20th, 2024. I got up earlier today and went to the farmer's market with my niece. And when I was there, I happened to see a couple gentlemen that were wearing shirts that said 1776. And they weren't like at the same, you know, within the same vicinity or anything. So I was like, huh, what's that about? And so I did just a basic Google search of 1776. And what came up is the American Revolution. And I also realized that January 20th is usually the day that new presidents are sworn in. And if I'm not mistaken, either today or tomorrow is the first day of Aquarius, the zodiac Aquarius. And we may be in an Aries moon. I'm not really sure. But that's what the energy feels like. It feels like there is a new energy. And what I'm feeling and what I'm getting is just, it's a love revolution. It's a whole love revolution. And this is something that, you know, I started talking about some years ago. And I made a video back January of 2023 about the last year, 2023, being the year to balance the chakras, to bring the chakras into the crown chakra, and to be able to connect with your divine consciousness. Last year being a 7 year, being a 7 being the God number, right? And so, and you know, also dealing with the crown. So how important it was to to get your crown and your kingdom in alignment in order to, you know, to balance your chakras to the crown, to be in touch with your divine consciousness. And in doing that, what that looks like is actually healing the nervous system. And so recently, I think I posted some videos on the community page. I'm sorry, some photographs on the community page from when I was in Aruba. So this time last week, I was in Aruba. And it was amazing. It was so, y'all, it was so life-changing. It was life-changing. And so I wanted to share that experience with you all. Because for me, so Conscious Creations is exactly that. It's consciously creating all the time. It's always creating. And so in Aruba, first of all, if you've never been, go. It's amazing. And so I'm standing there in crystal blue waters. And I can see my feet, right? Because the water is that clear. It's that clear. Come on now. Some snow just fell from the light posts when I said that. So you know, out here spitting fire, got the snow melting in real time. So anyway, so I'm standing there, but looking at the different levels of blue in the ocean, and actually being able to see where one blue ends and another blue begins, just seeing the depths. Because, you know, the deeper the blue, the darker the ocean, the darker the, you know, that means, I'm sorry, the deeper the blue, yeah, the deeper the space that it is. And so sunlight, 80 to 85 degrees easily every day. And it was so amazing to be in that moment, to be in that experience. And then you know, for those of you who may or may not know, I live on the East Coast in the US at this moment. And when I came back to the US a week ago, I landed and it was snowing. so I truly got a chance to experience the hot and cold of the experience, right? Hear what I'm saying? And it's a matter of degrees, literally, because, you know, we know that water begins to freeze at 82 degrees, no longer making it, as they call, water, right? Instead, it becomes ice. It changes its character and nature based on the degrees. And whole message. But I realize in every environment, we are different. In every environment, we are different because we adapt, right? So being in Aruba, obviously, it's hot. And so part of that adaptation is being uncovered because we're standing before the sun. So you're literally being uncovered. And then coming to the snow, obviously I got to put on my cashmere gloves because, you know, cashmere is an amazingly soft, if you've ever felt worn cashmere, it's a soft fabric that you want close to your skin because, one, it's a natural fiber, and so energetically it's just good for your aura to have these, you know, have natural fibers touching your skin. But having to adapt by putting on the contributions of nature in order to keep me warm when the temperature changes or the degrees change, right? And so there's so many things, so many messages in all of these things that, you know, that I'm saying, because again, it's been this plethora of experiences. But in balancing and getting to the place where we have a healed nervous system that truly enables us to be able to come together in our wholeness. Because one of the things that I realized when I got to Aruba the first day, I was thinking about how long it was taking me to be able to just relax. And I'm generally a very chill, relaxed person. Like, I'm literally sitting here eating ice in the snow. So I'm usually very, very chill. But when I got there, it was a different level of chill, in that there was no phones ringing. You know what I mean? It's hot, the sun is shining, you're at the ocean, you're just, you know what I mean? Just in that moment, in that experience. And just allowing myself to be in that moment. I had to settle down to get to a place where I could just be in that moment and experience that moment, or those moments while being there. And it showed me a couple of different things. Like, it showed me how, you know, obviously there's such a stark difference, you know, when being in the United States and, you know, the things that, you know, everyday life, you know, depending on where you are in your experience. But sometimes everyday life can be so damaging for the nervous system, or taxing on the nervous system. And so it's so important to be able to get away and to have these times, to have this time where you can truly reconnect to yourself, reconnect to yourselves. And one of the great ways to do that, of course, is going to the ocean, just being in the ocean, truly reconnecting with nature, because it truly does something to your soul. Reconnecting to the sun, reconnecting to the moon, reconnecting to the plants, the trees, the animals, to life, to things that are alive. You know, so often, you know, in American culture, you know, people are not necessarily engaged with things that are life affirming, people that are life affirming, experiences that are life affirming. but it's necessary to continue to affirm yourself. And so that's what these experiences really highlighted for me, that I really wanted to share, because I know, you know, like I've seen, of course, on social media, people talking about, you know, the weather and all this kind of stuff, and it's true, right? Obviously it's snowing, but it all is a matter of degrees, a matter of perspective. Like what's the vantage point that you're looking from, right? Because some animals, you know, some things require a level of extreme temperatures, right? At the bottom of the ocean, that can't even be measured. Actually, what they use to measure the ocean's depths is called a fathometer, right? Like, you can't even fathom the depths of the ocean. But know that it's the depths of the ocean are dark and cold. That's what they say. But there's also volcanic activity at the bottom of the ocean as well. So there's so much that is unknown. There's so many unknowns, but the exploration and the appreciation of that is such a beautiful experience. It truly is. You know, and for all intents and purposes, a lot of the experience has been, you know, folks claiming that they have discovered something that's already been, that's always been, that they've discovered something, and then coming in after having discovered something on land, specifically resources, then wiping the people out on that land and taking said resources, right? And then using brute force in order to keep the people from re-accessing their resources. But the truth of the matter is, you are the resource. You are the resource. And in order to be a resource, you have to resource. Get back to the source of life. Get back to the source, which is nature. Nature is what sustains. Nature is what sustains. People are able to eat because there's food that's growing outside. People are able to eat because there's animals that are outside. People are able to sustain their life force energy because there's a sun in the sky. There is connection with other people, other beings. So sometimes it's so important to get back into the space of living and truly consciously creating, remembering that you are indeed a creator. I mean, that just simply is. You are a creator. But these systems that have been set up by certain beings, these systems have been set up, designed, and organized for the purpose of keeping you from knowing who you are, so that your energy, your godlike energy, or God, not even like, but your God and goddess energy, your creator energy within you, can be used to create a reality where you are a victim, where you are oppressed, where you are anything other than a child of God, or God or divine, right? And the energy that is this energy is about walking in that knowing. Walking in that knowing, existing in that knowing, being in that knowing, reconnecting to that knowing, and knowing that you know that you know. You know? So, one of the things that's going to be really important in 2024, well, there's a couple of things. A couple of things that are going to be important in 2024. Like I said, reconnecting with nature, definitely, specifically the ocean. Because there's going to be a lot of discoveries in the ocean. There's going to be a lot of information that's going to come out about new discoveries in the ocean, specifically as it pertains to regeneration. because that's the energy that we're in. We're in this this transformative energy. And so because everything is everything, we're talking about the regeneration of cells. And because all of these, you know, over the years we've talked about healing ancestral traumas and things like that. The thing that we didn't have the discussion of what happens after you've healed it. What does that look like? This is it. Right? This is it. This is what it looks like after you've healed the traumas. What it looks like on the other side, right? It looks like gratitude. It looks like gratitude. It looks like pressure being relieved. It looks like happiness. It looks like joy. It looks like love. It looks like it's beautiful. It looks like beautiful. And whatever that looks like to you, I know that you feel me. I know that you do. Because that's why you're here. And focus on the ocean. So connecting with the oceans. One of the things that I've started doing, some years ago, I was taking sea moss gel, or doing sea moss gel, consuming sea moss gel. So I recently reincorporated that into my diet. And so I actually started making a sea moss smoothie. The other thing is, so that's really been helping a lot, because if you don't know, sea moss has 92, they say 92 of the, I believe 102, 108, something of that, minerals that your body needs in order to function in a healthy, sustainable way. So obviously that is very, very high in minerals, and in part that's because it's getting the minerals that are in the ocean that we don't normally get by eating a plant that grows in the ocean. In the salt and the minerals that are in the ocean, it's being fed by the light of the moon. And so, you know, the moon is Earth's like navigation system. It's like Earth's GPS. And so if it's following the trajectory and it's following Earth's GPS, and it's soaking up all of that energy, when you consume that, you're soaking in that energy, that magnetic energy that attracts to you what your body needs to sustain itself, and not only to sustain, but to thrive. So I've incorporated that into my diet, and it's been amazing. It's given me so much energy, y'all, so much energy. I decided to bottle it. Facts. So one of the other things that's going to be key is working on your core. Because this year, as you probably have heard many, many people say, this year resonates on the frequency of the number 8. Because if you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4, you get 8. So that is the energy and the frequency that we are in 2024. And so what that means is, if you think about, and I see 2808 on this mailbox. So when you think about the number 8, right? It looks like 2 circles intertwined with a twist, right? So it's like it's like, you know, a 0 with a twist, right? That's what Kambada said. Shout out to Kambada. I love that song. I think it's called Numbers, something like that. But anyway, love the song. So the number 8 looks like 2 zeros. You know, we see it if it's on its side, it looks like an infinity symbol. And if we see it the way that we normally see it, with the, you know, a 0 up top, 0 on the bottom, and they're intertwined, it looks to me, right, like as above, so below. And it's a perfect time right now, because when people are outside making snowmen, at least on the East Coast, people are outside making snowmen, right? It's literally creating this heaven on earth. This what is as above, and, you know, and bringing heaven to earth, right? And so part of this process that we're going through is grounding that energy, grounding that heaven on earth energy. So what the energy that you've been feeding and what you've been given is what you're receiving. And depending on what you've been given, that could be very, very beautiful, right? And so when we look at that, the other thing that stands out to me is really focusing on core strength, right? Because 8 also resonates with, in the tarot deck, resonates with the strength card. One of the cards that it resonates with is the strength card. And when I think about that, I think about like core strength, because for those of you who've known, years ago, I had issues with my back. And the reason that's so interesting is a couple of reasons that's interesting, but I had issues with my back. And one of the things that the doctor always said at the time was, you know, you have to stabilize your core. You have to stabilize your core. And I've come to realize, of course, that when your core is not stable, it's hard to sustain the as above and the so below, because your core is what's going to keep everything in balance. And so the reason I share that is because when we think about the number 8, and if you think about the 2 concentric circles on top of each other, that space in between, that liminal space, as they say, you know, I look at that space as like the Vesica Pisces, right? That's that creative right there. Yeah, that's that creative space right there. And those things coming together to truly be able to create heaven on earth, right? That as above, so below energy. And so in that, being able to create and to be able to have that space in between where you can truly have absolute clarity is going to be important. And so that's why, you know, the focus on the core strength, to make sure that your spine is stabilized, because you can't stand on business, right, as they say, or anything else without a stable core, without a stable, you know, without a spine, right? So so do focus on your core activities, that too, right? Your core activities, the, you know, the basics, the foundations, really truly building on the foundation. And as I see it, it's really building on the foundation of everything that you are truly, ancestrally. All of the things that have been hidden, stolen, taken from you are being returned, right? They are returned. And so using that energy to truly build from there. Because what do we always say? Our ancestors left us more than trauma. Facts. And so taking everything that we've spent the last couple of years working through in terms of ancestral trauma and generational quote unquote curses, all of those things, now using all of those gifts, all of those skills, all of those abilities that you have acquired over the last couple of years while you've been healing, while you've been working through these things, now using those to build the legacy wealth that you were destined to build. Because abundance is your birthright. And that's just facts. Abundance is your birthright. Life is your birthright. Remember that. And if you need any products along your journey that are made consciously created, visit our website at www.consciouscreations.live. And if this is the first Conscious Creations video that you are seeing, be sure to subscribe, as they always say, you know, the theys, right? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram at consciouscreations.live. You know, and even send us an email if you have any questions or whatever about anything that, you know, that I'm talking about. Because I certainly like to be able to have dialogue with folks and to be able to just have that healthy exchange. So you can email me at consciouscreationslive@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Welcome. We're here.